Okay, well, it's time for me to make a new walkthrough video of my arcade because it's been a while since I've done it, and I've gotten rid of some machines, made some donations, and I've actually acquired some new games. So some changes here and there, some big, some small, but it's quite a bit different from the way it used to be. So I figured it's time for a new walkthrough. So here we go. I'll talk about each machine a little bit in detail as I go down the line here, but I think I went from 33 machines down to 24. So I've gotten rid of some, replaced some with some different ones and whatnot. So we'll just go down the line from machine to machine. I'll talk a little bit about each one and you know, go from there. So first off, on the end here we have a 4-player Simpsons. It's been fully restored and cleaned up into a nice original condition and nice original shape. You can see I put the yellow T-molding on there, and the monitor looks fantastic, and new buttons, new joysticks. This control panel overlay is the original control panel overlay that was on the machine from the factory. I did not have to replace it. All I did was replace and put some new Lexan on there and new buttons and joysticks. So it's in really great shape, cleaned up quite nicely, and it's all good to go. Now some people, you can see I got all my Konami beat 'em ups here, but some people put these games don't have free play, and some people put credit buttons here on the control panel, or they'll put credit buttons here on the front of the control panel. And I don't really like that, so I put these little momentary push buttons here. I'm not going to press them because it'll coin up, but well, I can go ahead and do it, but you'll see here. So that's how all these will work here, but that pretty much is The Simpsons, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this off because the game will start playing. But so there's that one. And then we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's the same way with the push buttons, and there's a toggle switch there, which I'll explain here in a minute. But you can see the machine's kind of set up as a 2-player. You have Turtles in Time on this side, and regular Turtles on that side. It's a 2-in-1 because I have a 2-in-1 switcher in here. I have both games. So this side of the machine is set up to be Turtles in Time with the 2-in-1 marquee and then the side art. Sorry there's not more light here, but you get a general idea there. It's a custom side art that was made by Michael Thurston over at the KLOV forums. He was kind enough to make that and then let me have a copy of it, so I was able to get one printed out. And I am sorry, but I forget who to credit with the marquee, because it might have been him too, but I forget. But off the top of my head I forget. But I had this made up. Somebody on KLOV was kind enough to make this up for me as well, so you can see it's a 2-in-1. But so this side, of course, is TMNT Turtles in Time. That side is just regular TMNT, and again, it's a remarkable condition, fully restored. New control panel overlay, new Lexan. Of course, this is new Lexan, and there's new Lexan on the X-Men. I'll get to that. And new buttons and sticks. All three of these beat 'em ups have all the same buttons and joysticks. Of course, everything works just great. It looks fantastic. Another great looking monitor. All my machines have fantastic rebuilt, great looking monitors, so I'll get that out of the way initially here. So, and then of course the other side is regular TMNT, which, as you can see there. So what this credit switch does is when the switch is to the left, it only coins up player 3 and 4 for the first Turtles game. When I flip it to the right, it only coins up player 3 and 4 for the second Turtles game. The reason behind that is because player 3 and 4 coin inputs do not run through the switcher, the 2-in-1 switcher, but 1 and 2 do. So if I coin up 1 and 2, it's only going to coin up whichever game I have selected for those 2 players. But if I coin up player 3 and 4, it coins up both boards for player 3 and player 4. So if I switch over to, there's a switch underneath here for the game. If I switch over here to the second Turtles game, if I coin up player 3 and 4, it would also coin up player 3 and 4 for the first Turtles game, and I didn't want to have both games running at the same time in case I wanted to switch over. So I put this toggle switch here so I can control which game is coined up for player 3 and 4. So that's how that works. That's what that switch is for. So, and then you saw before was the first Turtles, and of course there's the second. So that's the multi-TMNT, and then we have a 4-player X-Men that I recently just got done restoring, as most of you who follow my videos or have seen my posts know. So this thing turned out great. Don't need to say too much about it because you guys have seen it, and if you do have any questions or whatnot, let me know. But fully restored again, same buttons and same arrows indicating which coin is which player, and it's all good to go. So Turned out quite nicely. Finally got a PCB. I was waiting for a PCB for I think a month or a month and a half before I finally got one, tracked one down, so that worked out just fine. And of course the monitor looks great and nice and all that stuff. So then the side art is actually kind of a mishmash of different things. What this is the 6-player side art characters, but I made it into a, well, there's no light on this side. It's the artwork for the 6-player machine that I kind of rearranged and reconverted and changed to accommodate the 4-player cabinet. And I designed I put the logo on there and everything. But you guys all know that. You saw my video on the restoration of this machine, so you're aware of that. If you haven't seen it, you know, check it out. If you don't know how to find it, let me know and I'll give you a link. But there's the 4-player X-Men. Then we moved down to another 4-player game, dedicated NBA Jam, all original, in fantastic shape. I chose to put the Tournament Edition topper on there instead of the Tournament Edition marquee because I had that marquee signed and autographed by 2 people from the development of the game, so I didn't want to change that out, so I put the Tournament Edition topper on there, which is what, when Tournament Edition came out, they while they were waiting for the artwork to really kind of be changed, and there was a Tournament Edition version of the cabinet and then a regular version of the cabinet here, which of course came first. But when Tournament Edition was released, they actually released it in a new cabinet with new artwork and a new design. But until the cabinet was released, they actually were able to get the game out before the cabinet came out, and they could upgrade current NBA Jam cabinets. And to announce that it was actually the upgraded Tournament Edition, they would put that topper on there. So I put that on there because I have the machine signed by Kerry Hoskins. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. Kerry Hoskins and Sal DeVita. We all know who Sal DeVita is from Mortal Kombat fame, you know, Nightwolf and Sector and Cyrax and Smoke, and he was one of the developers here on the game. And then Kerry Hoskins, of course, we all know as Sonya from Mortal Kombat 3, but she was also the blonde cheerleader on NBA Jam. So they signed this marquee for me, so I didn't want to get rid of it and put a Tournament Edition in here, so I put that up there instead. So anyway, again, as you can see, another fantastic condition cabinet. There is this custom bezel here. I designed and made this myself with all of the hidden, well, 99.9% of them. I think there's a couple of them I left out, but I only put the characters on here that I figured people would want to play as. But these are all the secret characters and hidden characters that you can type in their names and initials and play as in the game. You know, like Grim Reaper and Ed Boon, and there's Sal DeVita right there, and Dan Ford, and so all these characters, and of course the Mortal Kombat characters. And so that's the NBA Jam, another great condition cabinet. Then here on the end we have a dedicated Rampage. All original cabinet, original everything except the control panel overlay is a reproduction because the original one was missing completely. I have a restoration video on this as well. I had to put a new control panel overlay on here, and I had to put a new bezel on here because this one was really faded. You can see the marquee here. All these areas here on the outsides, the 3-dimensional areas, are all supposed to be red. You know, this area here and that area inside the G and the outsides of the E. That should all be red, but of course it's all faded beyond belief, and so was the bezel. All the red areas in the bezel were all faded real bad, so I got a new bezel made up, but I haven't done anything with the marquee yet. But I'll get around to it at some point. But real nice, original, dedicated Rampage. And like I say, I have a restoration video on this as well, so if you want to see the details on what it took to clean this up, you know, search my channel here and you'll see it, you'll find it. So now Rampage has a free play setting, but when you have it on free play, the screen is frozen in one particular image, and it'll screen burn the monitor. I don't want that to happen, so I turned the free play off, and I put another one of those momentary credit switches. Now this is the screen that the game will stay in forever. When you have it on free play, it just says free play here instead of credits, and I don't want to screen burn that image in the monitor, so I leave it on, you know, pay to play and put that credit switch in there. But it's fine to leave it for now. So. And then here we have a 2-slot, easy for me to say, a original 2-slot Neo Geo. This is all original sharp monitor. I capped it and put a new flyback in it, of course, but the monitor in here is the original monitor that came in this cabinet from the factory. Original side art, original vinyl, nothing's been replaced or repainted. It's the original decal, original vinyl that was on here. Same thing with the front and the sides. You can see the security bars holes there. I never got around to fixing those because mainly I don't want to have to take that vinyl off and repaint it or replace the vinyl, so I just left it like that, which isn't really a big deal to me. And then this side is just as good a condition as the other side. So a nice original 2-slot Neo Geo. It's got the 161 in one cart. I just went ahead and put 2 of the mini marquees in there for it, but and most of you guys know who have these know how the 161 in one cart works. But so I got that mostly for the Metal Slugs and the King of Fighters because I like playing those games and all that jazz. So down here we have a dedicated Galaga that has been fully restored. I got this in pretty rough shape. I was able to sand it down and paint it and clean it up, and full new artwork package and original marquee, original bezel, original K4600 monitor, fully rebuilt, turned out just great. Original control panel, if you can believe it or not, this is the original control panel for this game. It is not a reproduction. I have cleaned this up as best as I can. This is the original buttons, original joystick, original CPO, everything. You can see here where I touched it up with some paint. It doesn't look, you know, fantastic, but I did not want to put a reproduction on here because there aren't any current, really correct reproductions of this. So I just touched it up as best I could and paint matched it and all this stuff. Because most people will put back when they move these machines around, they would put a dolly under the machine from the front instead of the back. When they leaned the machine towards the dolly and laid it on the dolly arms would crack and break the control panel overlay. So these marks here where they're cracked and I had to repaint them are the perfect width of the dolly arms or dolly, you know, pieces. But anyway, that's original dedicated Galaga. And my battery here on the camera is about to die, so I'm going to go charge it. When I cut back here, I'll cut back right to this point and we'll carry on with the tour here. So 1 second. Alright, sorry about that. The camera battery is all charged now and we're ready to go. So we'll resume here with Versus Super Mario Brothers. Now this is one of those kits that was released specifically for this type of cabinet. This is a Ms. Pac-Man cabinet, and it's been fully converted over to Versus Super Mario Brothers, and it has a custom bezel here made by another member over at the KLOV forums, and then it has this topper here. Now this topper is meant, there's a kind of a long story here. This topper is meant to go on these type of cabinets, but this machine here was actually converted to Versus Super Mario Brothers from a kit from Nintendo that was specifically meant for this cabinet. So when I put this topper on here, it doesn't quite fit. See, there's a gap here and there's a gap on the other side. It's actually meant to go on these type of machines. But you can tell that this is an official kit. Not only is, I can't show you, but on the inside of the cabinet on the back, there's an actual ID plate that says Nintendo of America Versus Super Mario Brothers, you know, conversion kit, blah, blah, blah. And then there's an instruction manual inside that says, you know, this kit is for Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man cabinets. So it has it comes with a control panel and all the buttons and sticks, and it comes with, you know, the marquee. Now, of course, this marquee is meant to go in a machine like this, but it has a Nintendo closeout. This closeout here, this actual piece of plexiglass, has this logo and this design on top and bottom to close out the gap, because this marquee is only this tall, but it needs to be, you know, the whole height of the actual opening. So Nintendo released this plexiglass piece here with the top and bottom closeout to hide those gaps for these shorter marquees that are meant for these machines. So, and you know, and all it is, it's a Ms. Pac-Man cabinet that's been converted to Versus Super Mario Brothers. Now on the side, it has that generic Versus side art on the side of the machine. It looks pretty good. It's all been, you know, reproduced, and it's brand new. So it has the Versus side art. Now this is not just Versus Super Mario Brothers, because I have these controls and setup, and it's meant to be playing, you know, Nintendo games. I went ahead and converted this to a MAME cabinet. So you guys can yell at me all you want for that, but I wanted to be able to play more than just Super Mario Brothers. So if you press and hold player to start, it coins up the game, but if you hold it for 3 or 5 seconds, it actually escapes into the game menu, and it actually has every Versus game that you're capable of playing on this setup. Now what I mean by that is, you know, there's no gun games and things like that. So it has all the games that are capable of being played on a setup like this. So you can press up and down for individual and left and right for tab. And then not only it has all the Versus games, but if I press player 2 start again, it's It's got all the NES games. So this, I believe it has 900 and some odd games. So it's pretty much every NES game that was ever made. And again, left and right tabs up and down, then up and down actually does individual. But, you know, then there's the original Mario Brothers for NES. But it has all the... So they're all on there. So... I always just leave Versus SMB running. So it's pretty neat. It's got all those games on there. So that's the Versus Super Mario Brothers. Next we have an original Donkey Kong Jr. Now when I say original, I mean all original. Original Sanyo 20 Easy monitor, original bezel, original control panel overlay, original cabinet with original laminate. All of my cabinets here are original. The Donkey Kong, which we'll get to, and Mario Bros. We'll get to. All three of my Nintendo cabinets are all original laminate. They have not been repainted or retouched or replaced or anything. It's all original laminate. There's a long story about the Mario Brothers as well, which I'll get to, of course, in a minute. But Donkey Kong Jr., I cleaned it up as best as I could. Everything is original, marquee, and everything like I mentioned. The side art is the only thing that's been replaced, along with the T-molding. So the T-molding and the side art, but the cabinet itself and all of the front piece and everything is all original. Not much else to say about it. Of course, the monitors have all been capped and reworked, and they all look fantastic. Everything's been adjusted and all that jazz, and I have no complaints about anything on any of these. So there's not much else to say about the DK Jr. We'll skip the Mario Brothers and come back to it. Then we have original Donkey Kong, and just like DK Jr., the original laminate and everything. The only thing I changed out was the side art and the T-molding, but original marquee, original bezel, original control panel. I put a new instruction card and you know, for the panel, and then for this one here, the decal. So everything else is all original on these. And then we'll go back to Mario Brothers here. Now this actually was a Versus Super Mario Brothers that I picked up on a local Craigslist ad, but because I already had it, I decided to go ahead and convert this from Versus to regular Mario Brothers. So I was able to successfully do that, and now of course this is original laminate as well. I put, you know, the new new Mario Brothers side art, but this is an original marquee and this is an original bezel. It's still got the factory sticker on there. I don't see the serial number has been scraped off over the years, but original decal showing it as an original bezel. But the overlay is reproduction. I believe I got this from Arcade Overlays. I highly recommend them for some of the stuff. If you guys are restoring these machines, Arcade Overlays is fantastic. No complaints with those guys. But that's my three Nintendo cabs. I used to have DK3. I had the first DK Jr. and DK3, but I didn't play DK3 too much, so I got rid of it. So, but there's the rest of those. And then I have, on the end here, I have my custom multi-Street Fighter machine. This was a Killer Instinct 2 that I did a full conversion on and converted it to a complete custom multi-Street Fighter. It's got a 27-inch, I believe it's, hell, I forget. It's a 27-inch Neotech 24 or something or other. It's a 27-inch Neotech that I put in here, and I did not have to modify the cabinet at all to get it to fit. I did have to modify the bracketry that mounts the monitor in there, but with some very good finessing, I was able to get the 27-inch monitor in there without having to relocate the brackets or move anything mechanical or whatever on the actual machine. All I messed with was the bracketry for the mounts, for the monitor frame itself. But so a 27-inch Neotech, it looks great. And when I say multi-Street Fighter, what I mean is this actually has every Street Fighter game that was ever released in the arcade at any given time in the whole history of the arcades. Every version that's known to exist is actually on this machine. And I can press and hold either of the player 1, player 2 start. Press and hold it and it'll escape out. Let me kill this light here so it's not in the way. Alright. So again, you can see here is the game selection menu. It has I can left and right tabs and up and down the individual, but I didn't just, because it's MAME, of course, I added more than just the Street Fighter games. Some of the other games that I play a lot I put on here as well, so I can play them on the machine without having the real machines. So but as far as, you know, the Street Fighters, they're all here. If we get down to S here, I went ahead and put KI1 and KI2 on here because, seeing that's how this used to be a KI2 cabinet, I put the Killer Instincts on here. So, and of course all the 6-button fighters like Marvel Superheroes and MVC and things like that. So, and of course the NBA Hang Time. So I put a lot of different games on here, but mostly all the Street Fighters. There, see that? Now we start getting into the Street Fighters, and they all play and work perfectly. Even the EX games and all that stuff. So they're all here. I always just kind of keep the new challengers running. Oh, there we go. Press start button. So there you go, guys. That's everything in here, except the one last machine is a Arkanoid Revenge of Doe, or DOH, or however you refer to it. Many people refer to it as different things. I turned the light out because the light's directly overhead of this machine. But I got this bezel here made up for the Revenge of Doe, and this machine's been cleaned inside and out, rebuilt Wells Gardner K4900, and everything is good to go, and with no complaints on this. So that's the only cocktail machine I have, and it's kind of located centrally here right in the middle of all the other machines. So that is all the machines that I have in this one location. This one area of the house, if you will. I'm going to turn this back on. So the next area we go to is the dedicated Mortal Kombat area. Now what I mean by Mortal Kombat area is just that. This is my actual Mortal Kombat room, or Mortal Kombat zone, or Goro's lair, however you want to refer to it. But I have MK1, MK2, MK3, MK4, MK9, MKX, or MK10 if you want to keep the lineage going there, and then I have Injustice. So all you guys know that are fans of my YouTube page here and whatnot, that all of the stuff that went into getting all these machines all up and running and made, and all this custom stuff. So if you're new to the page and you haven't seen it, or if you guys are watching this on a different, probably Facebook or somewhere, then check out my channel or check out my videos and search for these. You'll see all the work that went into getting all these up and going. But I could spend a couple of hours detailing and talking about all these machines, so I won't get into too much detail. But most of you know they've all of these been signed, control panels and marquees, and I got all of the actor signatures and 8x10s and autographed posters and T-shirts and you know, autographed side art autographed by Daniel Pesina. That's been signed by Daniel Pesina and Carlos Pesina and Leah Montalongo and Brian Glenn have all signed these 3 medallion side art posters. And so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but we got you know, MK1 in phenomenal shape. All my MK machines are pretty much factory condition. So there's MK1 and MK2. That darn, there's not much light in here if I turn that overhead light off, so sorry if it's glaring on the monitor, but I made all these custom bezels with the moves on them. I mean, I know all the moves from playing these games for 20 plus years, but I put them on there to really snazz up the look, and when I have friends over that don't know the moves, they come in quite handy. So, and there was MK2 and then UMK3. I used to have regular MK3 in here as well as UMK3, but now I hardly ever played regular, so I went ahead and took it out. But it's not that big a deal. And then MK4. We'll go back over here to Injustice. Oop, sorry. And all these 3 custom machines have a 27-inch LED. I think it's not a computer monitor. It's actually a television. I think it's a 27-inch Acer television, or however you want to refer to it. And the picture on these is just phenomenal. So that's why I bought one for the MKX machine, and it looked so fantastic that I went ahead and bought 2 more and put them in the MK9 and the Injustice. So I'm real happy with the way these look and the way they turned out. So all 3 of these custom cabinets have the same monitor in them. It's a 27-inch LED Acer monitor, or Acer TV, however you want to refer to it. But that's the Injustice, and then we have MK9. MK9 and Injustice are running off the PlayStation 3 platform, and then MKX is running off PS4. So it all works out best for me that way. Well, that's all the machines in the MK room. If you want any more details on these, or any other you know, behind the scenes of what it took to make these, you know, check out the channel. For those of you who are new or have not seen these before, which I'm sure a lot of you here on the YouTube page have already seen them, but if you haven't, you know, search my channel and check them out. They're pretty labor intensive and labor of love, and I'm sure a lot of you guys would get a kick out of them as far as what it took to make them, who have not seen them before. So that is the Mortal Kombat room. And then last but not least, we have my little area in here where I've got my Megatouch, stand-up Megatouch machine. It's actually got all the artwork for the XL Extreme side art, and you can't see that for crap, but side art and marquee out. The cabinet's in great shape. Monitor's nice and bright and looks fantastic. Touchscreen works great. The cabinet is phenomenal, but it's not the XL. It's actually the Jade 2005 edition. There you see, 2005 Jade tournament, actually Max Jade tournament edition. But pardon me. So I like to play some of these Megatouch games. You know, Hearts and Photo. What's it called? Photo Hunt. Where is it at here? Yeah, Photo Hunt, Trivia Wiz, things like that. So I got this here for kind of my enjoyment because I like to play these Megatouch games, and I've always liked to play them. So, but I have a dedicated Commando. This machine is in great shape too. I fully stripped it down and repainted the whole thing. I put new old stock side art on it, which you can't see. There's not much light in here. It's another Wells Gardner K4900 that I fully rebuilt. Looks great. Everything else is original marquee, original control panel. The joystick's not original, but it didn't come with an original stick. It came with some crappy stick that I changed out to just a regular 8-way HAP joystick, which works just fine. But so there's the Commando and the Megatouch, and the last two machines I have are Back to the Future and Addams Family, and they're not turned on because I freaking forgot to turn them on. Sorry. Back to the Future. And then Addams Family here. Now the Addams Family is probably my pride and joy of my entire collection because it was I don't want to say home use only, but it was actually purchased brand new by somebody in Saudi Arabia. Somebody in Saudi Arabia bought this game brand new from the factory, shipped it all the way to Saudi Arabia, and it was in some highfalutin bigwigs, you know, house, if you will, for a number of years until the person I bought it from that guy. So I'm the third owner, but it's never been in a public setting. And you can tell that it's been overseas because the power transformer inside the cabinet has a sticker that says 220 on it, and then it's got 3 coin. The coin door has 3 pieces here, where normally you just have the 3 slots. I couldn't think of the word. So you can see there's 3 slots here, and they say DM. DM is dirham, and dirham is the currency of Saudi Arabia. So this actually has been on quite the journey and quite the trip. But the cabinet is 9.5 out of 10. Phenomenal. Playfield's phenomenal. I did a full LED kit on it. I got all the custom stuff, you know, the Uncle Fester and the bookcase LED, the Swamp LED, the graphic there that goes around the bookcase, the Greed decal, the Polar Bear. I got the actual inside cabinet decals, the blade decals, if you will, and then the back box decal and all this stuff. It really adds a nice little custom touch to it. I think that might be it. Oh no, I got like these decals that go on the grave targets and then the swamp targets. Where are you? There you are, the swamp target decals. And the Cousin It decals, you can see that there's images of Cousin It and his family there on those Cousin It targets. And then of course I got the color DMD, which I just had to get when it came out. So the Addams Family is probably the pride and joy of my collection. Then I have Back to the Future, which I'm a huge BTTF fan. You probably won't find another BTTF fan that is more involved with the the trilogy than I am. So you might, but you'd be hard pressed to find anybody who's more into the BTTF than I am. But so this cabinet's actually in really bad shape. The cabinet's in bad shape. It's hard for you to see. There, you can. Well, maybe you can't. There's not much light, and it won't focus. But there you go. Look at that. Both sides of this cabinet look like that. It's really bad shape. But the machine overall is in great shape. The playfield's in awesome shape. All the Mylar is original. Nothing is cracking or breaking or coming apart or lifting. The only spot, there's a wear spot right there on that the lane there. But otherwise, it's in great shape. The Doc Brown's plastic piece is broken there on that corner, It's broken there on that corner. And they got that wear pattern right there. But that is it. Nothing else on here is bad. I've did a full LED kit on this one as well. Brand new drop targets, new drop target decals, new DMC decals for the pop bumpers. The whole 9 yards. So another great machine. It's just too bad the cabinet is not in great shape. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching this long video. It probably didn't need to be this long, but I am long-winded. Again, easy for me to say when it comes to these machines and talking about this stuff. But any questions, let me know. And I appreciate you watching. And, well, game on.